looked at you today and closed its eyes slowly. You probably smiled. You probably thought it was being affectionate, or sleepy, or simply content in the way cats sometimes are. What you did not know is that in that single gesture, that unhurried, deliberate closing and opening of the eyes, your cat was doing something to your nervous system that it has been doing to humans for thousands of years. Something that works every time. Something that, once you understand the mechanism behind it, feels less like a coincidence and more like exactly what the word implies: a spell. The slow blink is the most studied gesture in cat-human communication research, and simultaneously the least understood by the people it is directed at. Most cat owners know it exists. Most have heard it means something positive. Almost none of them know what it is actually doing, neurologically, socially, evolutionarily, or why the human response to it is as consistent and as powerful as it is. Welcome to CatMind. Today we are going inside the slow blink, the precise neurological mechanism it activates in you, what the research from the University of Sussex revealed about its effect on human stress responses, why it works on humans who have never owned a cat, what your cat is reading in the moment before it decides to slow blink at you specifically, and what happens when you slow blink back. Stay until the very end, because the last thing we cover is the one context in which a slow blink means something completely different, and misreading it has consequences your cat remembers. Point 1. What the slow blink actually is, and what it is not. The slow blink is not a sign of sleepiness. It is not a reflex. It is not a generalized expression of contentment that cats produce randomly when they feel good. It is a deliberate, controlled, socially directed signal that requires conscious muscular effort to produce. The deliberate lowering and raising of the eyelids at a speed dramatically slower than a normal blink, held at the lowest point for a beat that communicates something specific. In feline social behavior, direct, sustained eye contact between cats is a dominance or threat signal. The slow blink is the precise opposite. The deliberate interruption of direct eye contact through controlled eyelid closure, communicating the active withdrawal of threat, the intentional lowering of social guard, the voluntary exposure of vulnerability in the presence of another individual. To slow blink at someone, in cat social language, is to say, "I see you. I am choosing not to watch you with predatory attention, and I trust you enough to briefly remove my primary defense." The eyes are a cat's most critical threat detection system. Closing them, even for a second, in the presence of another individual is not nothing. It is the offering of a moment of deliberate vulnerability to a specific chosen recipient. Your cat is not just being friendly when it slow blinks at you. It is performing an act of conscious trust that costs it something, and directing that act at you specifically. Point 2. What the slow blink does to your brain, and why spell is not too strong a word. Dr. Karen McComb and her team at the University of Sussex published research in 2020 that formally documented something cat owners had been experiencing without being able to explain for centuries. Human subjects exposed to cat slow blinks showed measurable reductions in autonomic arousal, lower heart rate, reduced galvanic skin response, decreased cortisol markers, compared to baseline and compared to exposure to cats with neutral facial expressions. The slow blink did not just feel calming, it produced physiological calm in humans who received it. The effect was present even in subjects with no prior cat ownership, even in subjects who reported no particular affinity for cats. The slow blink works on humans regardless of their relationship with the animal producing it. The proposed mechanism involves the mirror neuron system, the neural architecture that causes humans to unconsciously simulate the emotional and physiological states of the individuals they observe. When your cat performs a slow blink, the deliberate, relaxed closing of the eyes that signals safety, non-threat, and calm, your mirror neurons simulate that state in your own nervous system. Your body reads the slow blink and begins producing the physiological correlates of the state it is observing. Your breathing slows, your heart rate drops, your threat detection systems quiet. You feel, without knowing why, that everything is fine, that you are safe, that this moment is good. Your cat did not communicate that to your conscious mind. It administered it directly to your autonomic nervous system. That is not affection in the ordinary sense. That is influence. That is, in the most precise functional definition of the word, a spell. Point 3. What your cat reads in you before it decides to slow blink. The slow blink is not produced randomly. It is not triggered simply by contentment or proximity. Research tracking the conditions that precede feline slow blink behavior has found consistent patterns in the stimuli that elicit it. Your cat slow blinks at you most frequently when your own autonomic state is calm, when your breathing is even, when your movements are unhurried, when your voice is low and steady, when your body is positioned in a non-threatening orientation. Your cat is reading your nervous system before it offers you its own. This creates a loop that most people never consciously notice. When you are calm, your cat slow blinks. When your cat slow blinks, you become calmer. When you become calmer, your cat slow blinks more. The two nervous systems are regulating each other in a continuous reciprocal exchange, each responding to the other's state, each producing the signal that deepens the other's calm. What looks like a cat sitting quietly on the sofa, occasionally closing its eyes, is actually a real-time co-regulation system operating between two species across an evolutionary gap of millions of years. Your cat is not just reading your mood, it is actively shaping it. And it has been doing this since the first time it looked at you and decided your nervous system was worth engaging with.
Point 4. What happens when you slow blink back, and what the research found? The 2020 Sussex study did not just document the effect of cat slow blinks on humans, it tested the reverse. Researchers instructed human subjects to slow blink at cats they had no prior relationship with, strangers, shelter cats, laboratory cats with no history of interaction with the specific humans performing the gesture. The results were unambiguous. Cats slow blinked back at humans who slow blinked at them at significantly higher rates than cats who received a neutral expression. The gesture was recognized across the species barrier. The signal transmitted. The cats received the human slow blink as a social communication and responded to it in kind. What this means for you is specific and immediate. The slow blink is not a one-way broadcast from cat to human. It is a channel. When you slow blink at your cat, when you deliberately, consciously perform the gesture that in cat social language means, I trust you, I am lowering my guard, I am choosing vulnerability in your presence, your cat receives that signal with the full weight of its social meaning. You are not mimicking your cat, you are speaking its language, and it hears you. The next time you are in the same room as your cat and it looks at you directly, try it. Lower your eyelids slowly, hold for a beat, raise them again. Watch what happens. The response, when it comes, is not nothing. It is your cat telling you in the oldest and most precise language it has that it received what you sent.
Point 5. The one context where the slow blink means something different and why misreading it matters. I said we would end with the one context in which a slow blink carries a different meaning, and this is it. In feline to feline social interactions, the slow blink is used almost exclusively in affiliative contexts, between cats that have established positive relationships, between mothers and kittens, between bonded companions. But there is one situation in which a cat will produce something that looks like a slow blink, but is not. During high-stress interactions, confrontations with unfamiliar cats, situations of social tension, cats will sometimes produce a slow, deliberate eye closure that superficially resembles the affiliative slow blink, but functions differently. It is a displacement behavior, a tension reduction gesture directed inward rather than outward, the cat managing its own stress response rather than communicating trust to another. The difference is readable in the body language surrounding the gesture. An affiliative slow blink comes from a relaxed body, soft posture, loose tail, easy breathing. A displacement blink comes from a tense body, tight posture, tail held low or tucked, shallow breathing. If you slow blink at your cat during a moment of genuine stress and it slow blinks back with a tense body, it is not returning your trust signal. It is managing its own anxiety. Treating that response as reciprocal affection and pressing forward, approaching, touching, prolonging the interaction is a misread your cat will file. It will remember that you did not read its body, and the next time it is stressed, it will be slightly less likely to stay in the room with you. The slow blink is a gift when it is freely given. Reading when it is and when it is not is the difference between a relationship that deepens and one that quietly erodes.
So the next time your cat looks at you across the room and closes its eyes slowly, the next time that unhurried, deliberate gesture lands in your direction, understand what is actually happening. Your cat has read your nervous system and found it calm enough to engage. It has performed a conscious act of voluntary vulnerability directed specifically at you. It has administered, through your mirror neurons and into your autonomic system, a signal of safety so precise that your heart rate drops in response without your conscious mind participating. And it has been doing this to you in this room, in this relationship,
since the first time it decided you were worth the cost of lowering its guard. That is not a small thing. That is not a cat being cute. That is two nervous systems, separated by 65 million years of divergent evolution, finding a frequency they can share. A gesture that crosses the species barrier so cleanly that neither of you needs a common language for it to land. Your cat closes its eyes. Your body responds. Something in you goes still and safe and certain that this moment is good. Call it what you want. The cats figured it out long before we did. Tell me in the comments, have you ever slow blinked at your cat and had it slow blink back? Tell me what species and what the moment was like. I read every one. I will see you in the next one. Cat Mind.